Welcome to the Pen Leader Podcast, where strategic leaders get straight to the topics, strengthening our awareness and sharpening our minds. The Pen Leader Podcast is produced by Roar, a production division of Mays & Associates Ltd. Find out more at www.maysassociatesltd.com. Now here is your award-winning host, Dr. Shanda Gore.
Welcome to the Pen Leader Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about getting straight to the point, and I'm going to be sharing a little bit of observations and some statistics with you concerning about the handling of strategic planning, and one area that seems to be probably considered one of the more neglected areas when rolling out a strategic plan. So I'm going to get right into it. I'm taking it right out of the Pen Leader Path, which is the newest book for identifying, engaging, and developing effective human and AI leadership for your organizational culture. So I'm truly hoping that this can be a benefit to you. And one of the major pieces we're seeing is that according to the Harvard Business Review, entrepreneurs who write formal business plans are 16% more likely to achieve viability than otherwise identical non-planning entrepreneurs. Now, why is this so very important? Because a formal business plan can get you so much further. It's documented, it's on paper, and therefore it's real. I used to say in so many sessions in our trainings that if it's not written down, people will forget it and they may just move on to the next area and just say, I thought we talked about that, but maybe it's my imagination. So if it's not documented, it's not something that people quite remember. Even the reinforcement of thought. You have a goal, you're sharing a goal, you're saying it over and over again. Repetition is very important. And so that is a missing area right now, I think, especially with strategic planning. And so there are those characteristics of the pen leader. We talk about being sharp, being educated and experienced in the area that you're leading. And we talk also about the fact that, you need to be strong in character, to have that credibility, to be able to have others trust that what you're saying is true. And that, of course, that you have the company and organization and everyone's best interest in mind when you're setting goals, but that also you have a straight pathway of understanding of where you're going, with, of course, the ability to pivot when needed. So I'm really going to talk about how getting straight to the point is so critically important, because of the fact that even if you have a business plan, there's more likelihood of having a misstep in a strategic plan when people don't understand why the goal has been set. Maybe they haven't been part of actually sharing that, and then they themselves are not sure how they play a part. And because strategic plans are so critically important, especially when we're talking about 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, and I don't typically see 10-year plans, but they do exist. If you're doing a 5-year plan, a 3-year plan, these are some really important points on how you're going about truly sharing what that is. So how do you do that? And then how do you move forward with a strategic plan? So when I say that this is a neglected area, like communicating the plan, I'm saying is that there may be even a plan created, but again, it's not readily available for people to see, or you can't find it. This is notorious. Or again, like I said, it may be that somebody didn't write it down. It takes a moment to reflect on what is in the strategic plan. And so everybody having a copy of it and seeing it is one of the most important parts. It doesn't even have to be fancy. It doesn't even have to have a lot of pictures in it. And it doesn't have to be lengthy. So it doesn't have to be 30 or 40 pages long. Even with that, it could get very convoluted with where the goal is and the action items that support it. So when I talk about goals, again, what you need to have a strategic direction and then an action that would support the goal and in the objective. And then, of course, timelines and measurables, and then who's the responsible agent to ensure that that goal is being met. So say you have it all written down, the team is all in agreement with it. Now it's 6 months later. What are you doing with the plan? How far are we with the plan? Have you scorecarded it out? Are you taking a look at it? Are you noting your successes as well as potential failures? Another shortfall is that leaders who have strategic plans, they're not getting straight to the point because they're not sharing what the successes are as well as the failures. And so that's another communication area that's really important. Why strategic planning is one of probably the biggest challenges for a number of leaders and entrepreneurs is because you are typically just trying to make sure you're getting day to day done. It is not something that you create every day. Therefore, you don't have as much practice. And so this is why it's important to take time, schedule on your calendars to reflect. I'm a big reflection in the morning, taking a look at what my day looks like, my week looks like for the week. I pick days and I schedule time with myself to be able to do that. For those leaders out there that are not doing that, this can be a real challenge because you think that you are able to do it and then it's not on your calendar and then you forget and then it gets put off. So it's really important for you to get that down, to schedule, and to reflect back on it. It's important to have those meetings with your staff to share where you are with the plan and to see what feedback they have with the plan. So how do you build this skill? It's really important that not only in the calendar, but also with self-reflection. And this means that you have to be honest about if that goal is even relevant anymore to your organization. And then keep in mind, is it a personal goal? Or is it the goal for the organization? So sometimes they're intertwined together, depending on if you're a sole proprietor and you are the only one that's involved in making the goal happen. But if you're not the only one and there's others that are in that ship with you moving forward, it's really important for them to understand. And if they have a challenge with something that you've come up with, either you came up with it by yourself and not with the team, that you're allowing the room to be able to have the feedback. And so there's a self-reflection and taking a look at it, and then having the team, if you have a team, to be able to to really look at it and see what part they play in it. The other part of this that people forget is that you really want to make sure your client and or your customers understand where your company or organization is going. And that's another part about getting straight to the point. If you change a product or a service, it is really important for you to communicate that out to your clients, to your customers, to whoever. If you're running an organization in education, that your students know that you've made a change. Maybe you're sharing or providing additional services for them and or classes. If you're an organization that's in service, this is an additional service that we provide, and this is why we provide it. Another shortfall that I find is that there is something that's going on with another company, maybe in the same industry. You might even see it as a competitor, and you say, I think I want to do that too. You really need to sit back. A strategic plan will help guide you in thinking if this is the best for the company or organization at that time, or are you just doing it because your competition is doing it? In the lane that you are the best, the sharpest that you can be in, that you can be as straightforward with it, and that you can show and demonstrate a strength of follow through and character with whatever service or product you are providing. So those are some really critical components to think about in the audiences when we're talking about getting straight to the point that you need to keep in mind. Again, self-reflection, those that are actually part of the team, so the team knows internally, and then externally to really do a check-in with those clients and or customers, or again, if you're in education of those students, to make sure that you are communicating where the organization is going and that you're keeping to your key mission. So with that saying, I hope that this has been a good moment for you to think about getting straight to the point. It's a short pinpoint moment, and I'm looking forward to hearing more and getting your feedback about how your strategic planning process is going and how you're communicating it out to individuals. Don't hesitate to reach out to us at info@mazeassociatesltd.com. We'd also like to thank Jennifer Pensition at Edward Jones, Financial Advisor. She's fantastic in doing that work, and she also does a lot with planning. Without further ado, until next time.
The Pen Leader Podcast is hosted by Dr. Shanda Gore and brought to you by Maze & Associates Ltd, creating customized solutions for growth in the areas of leadership development, strategic planning, and culture building. Find out more at www.mazeassociatesltd.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the Pen Leader podcast and share with others.